um, you know, I'm who you see, but you can actually hover your cursor over the little square with me in it, and there's a thing that says pops up and it says mute, and another one pops up and it's like three little dots, and if you click on those three little dots, one of the options that pops up is pin, and you can click on pin, and that'll put me up there. But if y'all don't know how to do that, I can actually click on Spotlight for everyone. Do you want me to do that, Julie, or just leave it up to individuals to pin or not pin?
Is that just for the to mute?
No, it's to spotlight my screen so that everyone sees my screen large.
Can I
Oh,
just say I'm on an iPad and I can't,
okay.
it doesn't work. I
So
usually wind up seeing the lady with the red hair
Oh,
as
okay.
the big screen because for some reason it always defaults to her and I don't see you.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
so maybe you should do that.
I'll click on Spotlight for everyone.
Okay.
So there I did it. How does that look? Anybody
Great.
seeing something they don't want to see? Unless it's the pizza in my teeth.
No, that's good.
Then we're in trouble. Okay, so if this is good, then I'm going to go ahead and go forward. And let's just switch my view to my tabletop. Okay, this, I had showed you this at the beginning of last week's session, and it wasn't quite this far along. But I've added a bunch more stuff to it, and it's getting where I really like how it looks. Um, then this is the one that I painted with you guys last week. And oops, I've got a reference photo in there that I don't need to have. Let me deal with that really quick. Okay. And that way you can see more of my table. So this is what I'm going to be working on today. This is kind of where we're going. You can see I've drawn in here some pine garland, and it's got some berries on it. I got a little sprig of mistletoe. I've got some holly leaves and berries. I don't really know what that is. It just sort of happened there on my paper. It's a plant. I don't know. I made this striped like a candy cane. I put some peppermints in here in a few places. And this area where I sprayed water on it and it went all crazy, I decided that was a perfect spot to incorporate some of these peppermint candy shapes. And I like how that's starting to look. I'll probably end up adding some more to that along the way. And I painted in this big shape in the background here of an ornament, a ball for the Christmas tree. And I put another one back there because it just looked like it needed it for balance. Um, I put some swirlies on here and I didn't like how it looked by itself. So I put one back there to see how that looked. And this kind of was getting lost in my holly. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. This right here was, this side of my V was getting lost in all my holly leaves. So I just took a marker and extended it up through there very lightly. The color's not showing as good as I thought it would. I thought my lighting would be perfect today because it's sunny outside. But you can at least see that I've got something drawn on there. It's really a real pretty turquoise marker that I used there because I've got some light blue in the bottom of this V. But what I do is I just look for a starting point. So that's what we're going to do today with this, or with whatever word you have written on your paper. Let me show you one more thing real quick because I can. I just want to remind you. This is one that I did of my name. And I've got this H in my name, and it just cried out to be an entryway to some kind of a little cave or a fairy house, or I don't know what, something like that. And the letter C I turned into a fish. And this is kind of a wave happening here. All of this stuff was unplanned at my painting stage. At this stage, I didn't know what it was going to become, and I just sat there and played with the markers, and I put in dots and squiggle lines, and there was a little spot of yellow where the yellow from the top of the eye ran way over there when I spritzed it with the water bottle, and it just was a little lone spot of yellow, and I took my markers and enhanced that and made it a star. And you can see I just kind of played with it. And again, that's what I did with this one. My starting point here was this pine garland. I started with that. And then I decided to make this a candy cane stripe. And what this is I used a white gel pen. That's one of these pens that you can actually write over top of things, and it's like invisible when you're drawing with it, but then it dries and the color appears and it lays on top of the paint. And so that was how I was able to get snowflakes on here. But these are just ideas I'm telling you to give you some information so you'll know how I went about deciding, how did I make that whole painting happen? I didn't plan it in advance. I worked it out as I was going. I looked for a starting point, and I think when I've taught this before in the in-person classes, I've told you, remember when you were a kid and you used to look for shapes in the clouds? This is very much the same thing. I'm going to be looking in here and seeing what I see in the same way I would look for shapes in the clouds when I was a kid. So that really makes it easy. And all you need is one starting point. You don't need the whole plan figured out before you start coloring or making marks. You just relax and think about it. Look at your piece. Look for something to pop up to you. Sometimes it helps me to look at other words. So these are some of the phrases that I showed you last week to choose from if you were doing a holiday theme. I just sat down and wrote things out until I came up with the idea that I knew, oh, that's what I want to do. And it's the same way, in the same way you chose your phrase or the name or whatever it was, there's going to be something about it that you're going to just know, oh, that's what I want to do. So that's where we're headed at this moment. So spread your markers and stuff out in front of you. Now I will tell you, I've got colored Sharpies. These are extra fine point. Let's see if I can get that in front of the right camera here, and if it'll zoom in. I don't know that it'll zoom and show because my lighting is not quite as good as I had hoped. But it says extra fine point right there. It looks like that. There we go. So it makes nice, really pointy, thin, good lines. I've got a whole pile of these technical pens, which most of these are black, and they come in different widths. So I've got really, really fine and pretty fine, and this one is not that fine. So all different widths of those. I've got some bigger black markers. I've got, of course, all my regular pencils and pens and things like that. And I've got a set of colored pencils. There we go. It's just regular colored pencils. They're not watercolor pencils. They're normal colored pencils. And those I'm going to just set over here and pull the tray out. So that is there to inspire me. I may get an idea and go, oh, and grab the right pencil and go with that on the paper. I also really love these Tombow markers. I have a lot of these sets now because it was, last week was my birthday. And when, and I was out of town and I got back in town after, I think maybe if you were here last time, you may remember I was filming from my dad's dining room, and that was interesting. But when I got back in town, my husband had bought me 2 more sets of these for my birthday, and it was pretty awesome. But these are great, and I use these the most because they have, it says dual brush pen. They have a marker, like a brush tip. Where can I put it so you can see it there? They have a brush tip on the one end, and then they have a fine point at the other end where you can see that. And they're water-based, so they're blendable, very blendable, and they come with these blending sticks, which you just use this. Let's put that in front of there. You just use this to blend the colors together, and you can actually move some of the watercolor paint over if you want to do that. And that's how I get some of this background color in here that's spread around. I did that with the blending, with the brush pen and the blending stick. So that's another way you can put color on these things. You can also get good markers like this. This Artist Loft brand comes from Michael's. And so I just spread everything out in front of me. And then I start waiting for inspiration to strike. And so in order to help each other, I know we're not all doing the same word, and some are doing a holiday themed word and some are doing a name. But if some of you would unmute yourself for a moment and just say what thing that might, what idea you've got, and I'll start. I'll just say I'm looking at this, and the thing that's jumping out at me is that star. Oops, sorry. The star in the center of the O. And I'm thinking, do I want to add some more of this blue color? Yes, I do, because it's very pretty. Okay, how do I want to incorporate some more blue? And in keeping with the theme of the star, what idea pops up to me? And I'm going to just start by taking one of my dark blue markers, and I'm going to, whoops, these lids don't stay open good, so just do that. Get that out of the way. I'm going to start with this blue marker, and I'm going to put a little bit more color. It started to run over here, and I like that, so I'm going to enhance that. Now, some of my yellow's running, and I don't want to kill all the yellow, so I'm just going to put some color right in there, just like that. And then I take the blending pen and spread it all out. And that's my starting point. So if anybody else would like to share their starting point, if you've got an idea and you want to go with it, anybody want to jump in and share what they're doing? And you don't have to show, but just, if you want to say, I'm starting with a background color, or I'm drawing a holly leaf, or if you're not doing a holiday theme, maybe you've got a botanical theme in your mind, and you can draw leaves and flowers or berries or anything. So anybody want to share anything? And you'll have to unmute to do that, I think. Otherwise, it's kind of a free-for-all from this point. But I would like you to share if you don't mind.
Hi, Christine. This is Mercedes.
Uh-huh.
I would like to do the one you did underneath your belief, that branch.
The pine.
The pine branch was
pine
very nice.
Garland.
Yeah,
That's a very easy thing to do. And I think I'm going to add some of that to mine too. So that's a very good starting point.
Okay.
And you know what, Julie, if it's okay with you, I think that we could maybe have everyone unmute at this point, because I don't foresee a whole lot of talking, just some little bit of like we do in class.
That's fine. So, okay, I'm gonna unmute everybody.
Otherwise, it's going to be kind of silent, because if I try to talk constantly the whole time, that's going to be a distraction.
Okay.
I think. That's how I would handle it in the in-person class. I've given you a bunch of information. Now I'm going to shut up and let you guys take the ball and run with it.
Can you guys all unmute yourselves? Let's see, maybe I can, I'm trying to unmute all.
There may be a unmute off
Done.
button.
Done. Okay, unmute yourselves if you can.
Can you put the reference to look at the ideas?
There isn't really, oh, you just want to, okay, here's another thing I should tell you. Yeah, I got to mute my phone. Hold on a second, I forgot. I have gone online and just punched in words like holly and ivy. I even put in the word believe and then look for images to see what happens and look for Christmas light or anything like that. We are getting a little bit of feedback from somewhere. Not sure where. And somebody wanted to know, where did I purchase the Tombos? They are currently on sale 50% off at Michael's. So the whole set is like $14 and something. So now's a great time to buy those Tombow markers. Let me see if I can. I didn't print anything out, but I might do a share screen. What was the question?
What did you say, Tombo or Combo? I wasn't here last week. Tombo?
Tombow. Let me pull the thing over and show you again.
Oh, the
See
dual
right here.
brush- the dual-
Tombow dual brush markers. These came from Michael's. You can get them at a lot of different art supply stores, but mine came from Michael's, especially right now while they're 50% off. Because they can get a little expensive, but they're great. I love working with them. Okay, back to reference pictures. Let me get a couple of reference pictures up and then we'll see if we can do a share screen.
Christine, were you going to show us what to do with the spray water?
The spray
You said
bottle,
to have a little mister.
yes, the spray bottle I did use last week. I will show you again right now. Let me see if I can find a place that will do that. Let's see here. I did this. Oops. I've got something in the way of my screen, so let me just move that for a moment. I did this yesterday completely with the markers. Now they're water-based. This is 100% markers, and then I sprayed my spray mister on it, and it made everything kind of the colors start shifting and running and blending together, and I'm making a really cool watercolor look here without putting a brush on this page at all. This is all markers with the spray misting bottle. And what I do with that is, okay, this is my mister, and you'll need to check too. You can get a spray bottle that makes big kind of droplets, or a spray bottle that makes a really fine mist. And I like the fine mist for this. But last week, the last thing I did was I sprayed water on here and it made all this run right out here, and it made some color run. See all of this running? That's from hitting it with the spray bottle. I don't want to do too much of that again right now because I think I have enough on here, but let me hit this screen a little bit and see if I can make that run somewhat. It's dried for a week, so it's not going to run a whole lot, but if it'll run any at all, it's starting to do a little bit right in there. That just, putting the water on there softens up the color. You can also use the spray bottle on, like I just showed you, on those markers. So if you get some color on there with your marker and it's a little too strong, or it's a little just, too much in one area, or you just don't like it, hit it with a little bit of water from your spray bottle and just see what happens. You can't really, oops, sorry. You don't have a lot of control over it. But what I like to do is put it on there, see what happens, and then start looking for shapes in it, like what I did with this picture, where I just decided I could see these peppermint candy shapes coming out of that that swirl that happened when I sprayed it with the water bottle. So
practice on.
You can also sometimes take your finger and move the paint a little bit if you want to.
I need to do a dog.
I did a whole, you can't see that a whole lot, but I just get a little bit of paint moved into there. It's very light, but it's pretty. So let's see here. What else can I show you? I have talked about these gel pens a lot. They will make little white marks. And let's see if I can get where I can see this. What shape do I want to put on there? I could
Christine,
put dots on there, or I could put snowflakes.
Christine, do you have ideas for like the peace? Like if you did peace as your word, like things to add? Like
Then you would think of what things say peace to you. What things come to your mind when you're thinking of the word peace? And what associations do, like, even if you associate it with the holiday season, okay, that's one set of images. Um, there are just a lot of images you could use, and you could use like a dove, and you could make a silhouette or something of a dove kind of in the background, like I did the Christmas tree ball back behind there. You could put a dove kind of behind some of your word. Doves sometimes are pictured, or many times they're pictured with an olive branch in their beak. So you could, instead of a pine garland, you could put a sprig of an olive branch, and you don't have to just put it in the dove's mouth. You could put it somewhere else. You could twine it down through one of the letters.
Well, I want to do it in the E, around the E, the last letter. So how would you?
I really can't do a leash without a dog, because otherwise it looks like a snake.
I'll try to do it throughout the E.
I don't want to make
just give it a whirl and see what happens. And I would ask that as long as you're talking to us, you're welcome to stay unmuted. But if you have someone else come in the room and you're going to have a different conversation or make a phone call or something, please do remember to be courteous and mute yourself at that point. And then you can unmute when you come back to talking to the class. I don't know what I want to put on here, so I'm going to just start marking and see what happens. And my first mark is very light. You can just see a little bit of a sheen. But as that dries, that is going to get more and more apparent. Boy, I'm not really getting a good idea. I'm going to just...
That's okay. That's nice. No.
Sounds like somebody's running water. Or in their car. If that's you and you know it, can you mute until you're done doing that? Someone is definitely getting a lot of extra noise. Okay, so while that gel pen is drying, it's going to take a minute to dry, and it'll get brighter white as it dries. While that's happening, I'm going to go back to possibly sharing the screen, but let me get some images up here. Let's go with this one. This is something I just found online, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the share screen button, and hopefully that is going to show up correctly for everyone. And I am sharing my whole screen, I think. Oh, this will let me share just the photos. There. Can everyone see an image that's mostly black and white? I think there's maybe a little bit of color in it, but it's got all different kinds of shapes of leaves and things.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. So this is one of the images that I found online, and I used this for to give me ideas. because I like the way the appearance of the single lines look on this. This could be a feather, or it could be a palm frond, or a pine branch, anything like that. And over on the left side, we've got a thing that I like a lot because it's a light and airy, and it has these berries, but then it has these two. There's just a lot in there that I like. I love the shape of these flowers in here, which you can again run the viney branch or stem part of it intertwined in and out of your letters, and then put flowers spaced out along the different points on it. You can do some kind of a star shape like this. You can put little tiny flowers in there. This is just a piece that I really like. Now, I'm not sure I can get it to go. It's not going to go to another photo like that. So let's see if I can, what I need to do. I don't want to close my meeting. I might have to stop sharing in order to get to a different picture. Or maybe if I shrink this. Nope, that didn't do it. Oh. Did the image just change, or did I change that only on my own screen?
It changed it.
Changed.
Okay, so you're seeing
Holly.
Hollyberry. Okay.
Yes.
See if I can hit the escape and try to make that larger. Okay, that gave me my controls back. So let's make that larger. I use this image a lot because I like to include holly leaves and berries in any kind of holiday thing. And they just look pretty in a lot of stuff anyhow. So this is a piece that I would use quite often. Now let me see if I can find, how did I do that? I'm gonna have to go over here, more hollies. I thought this was a really pretty image because it gives me a way to see how to make those, excuse me, the pine or cedar branches or pine boughs, pine garlands, and then it's mixed in. There's some mistletoe. That's what this is. This is the mistletoe sprig and the mistletoe berries. And then there's these other berries. And this is just a really good mix. And this is some ivy. You know, you always hear about the holly and the ivy. Well, the holly are those prickly leaves. And then this would be the shape of an ivy leaf, which you could also twine through your work. This is some little, actually, this was a weird mistletoe, believe that or not. I was looking for some like cayenne pepper because I like to put holiday peppers because they're bright red and green. I like the colors. And I even have a holiday swag that's peppers. And I like to incorporate that in some of my stuff. And I was looking for that and I came across this weird, I've forgotten the name of it, unfortunately. Sorry, I can't remember it, but that is actually a weird mistletoe. So instead of the little white berries, it looks like that, but it was unique and it got my attention. So I captured the image of that. This right here again is just mistletoe, but you see there's a ribbon there. You can tie ribbons around parts of your letters. You can turn a capital letter L into a Christmas stocking or something like that if you wanted to. This one, I like this image a lot too, because I just like the light and airy feeling that it has. And I should be saying you can take screenshots of these if you want while I've got them up here, since I did not print them out. But if there's one in particular somebody wants to see again, just holler and I'll put that up there and give you a chance to look at it. And this one actually has some pine cones in it too. And that's about it on the images that I used. So does anyone want to see anything else again before I get out of the screen sharing? Nope. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. And you can see, look right here, my gel pen has dried, and that little snowflake that I put on there is a whole lot brighter white than it was. So um, that's the effect you get with the gel pens. And again, you can buy gel pens at any of the art supply stores like Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I buy mine at Jerry's in Deerfield because I live up here close to that store. But just go to wherever is convenient for you and check out the supplies you can find. The gel pens come in other colors too. This is a blue sparkly one, which I discovered I don't really like, but I wouldn't have known it if I didn't buy it and try it. So that's what I do.
Christine, would you mind telling us which brand of white gel pen you prefer?
Okay, this one is, it's called a souffle. You can barely see it. I can barely see it, so I don't think I can get my camera to pick it up. It's not going to. Let me put a little light on it with my cell phone just in case that helps. And like I said, I buy them at Jerry's. Okay, let's see. And that's not going to do it, is it? It says souffle on it right there, really, really lightly. Now, if I can get my flashlight turned back off.
Thank you.
It says made in Japan. I don't see any other information on it. But that is the type of gel pen more so than the brand. If this has a brand, I'm not sure what it is. There is this brand here called Jelly Roll, which you can almost see that where it says Jelly Roll right there.
Yes, thank you.
And they will have a white version in that too. I think most gel pens are pretty much created equal. But I have found I like these that say souffle best. All of these white ones that I have all say souffle on it, just like a souffle you would cook and eat.
Okay.
And I don't believe that is a brand name. I think that is a almost like a distinction, like on these Micron pens where it says 08 and this one says 1. That has to do with the size on these. This right here, let me see if this is a different brand. I've had it so long I've worn the brand name off of this one. But you might have like these might be not waterproof. These would be water soluble, and whereas this one is waterproof. So I could draw with this one, put water on it, and it wouldn't spread. Yes.
Yes, I have Uniball Signo that I bought on Amazon, and they're very inexpensive and they're very good.
Okay, good. And that's gel pens?
Yes, the white.
Okay, okay.
I think they're 3 for $6 or something cheap.
That's a good
wonderful.
That is a good price.
Yeah, I was
Uniball.
Uniball.
and you can get them at Michael's too.
If you want, you could type that into the chat so everyone that's interested could see it.
I can because I'm doing it on my phone, so I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just see if I can do that.
I can do that.
Uniball, Uniball, and it's Signo. I don't know if that's part of the brand.
Are you saying S like Sam?
Yes.
And then N like Nancy?
It's It's Signo. S is in Sam, I is in Irving, G is in
Sino.
Sino, yes.
I'm typing it in right now.
And
Okay.
it's Uniball.
Good. That's very good information to have. And you say you got them on Amazon, but they're also available. That brand sounds like you could probably get that at Walmart. You know, I have found a lot of really great art supplies at Walmart of all things. Because for a little while there, not everywhere was open and it was hard to get supplies. And I needed some things like right now, not order it and wait for it to come. I haven't been, I've been cheap and I haven't got an Amazon Prime account. So I don't get overnight free shipping. Um, so I was shopping, looking around, and found, to my surprise, a lot of times you can get really good art supplies at Walmart, of all places. So there's the Uniball information from Amy. And Anne asks, are we using watercolor paper or drawing paper? For this particular project, you can use either one. A mixed media paper would be good. The thing is, we didn't put a whole ton of water on here. Where you would need good sturdy paper is in the initial step where we put watercolor on our letters and then sprayed it with the water bottle, etc. But as you can see, we didn't do a great big wet in wet wash, so we didn't really soak the paper. It's still good. I did this one on a watercolor block. And if I had not had it on the block, I would have taped it down. You could feasibly do this whole project on cardstock because it's just sturdier than copy paper.
I see. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna do something with this E because it's still kind of a little bit wet right in there, and it's really starting to spread and go into it's on the verge of becoming too loose and too spread out and no detail and no fun in there. So while this part's still wet, let's see, what might I want to do there? It's green, and that puts me in mind of the different kind of pine branches and boughs and leaves and holly leaves and stuff. But then I put water on it last week and made it really, I blew on it and made the green go way out this way, and that's just, I like how that looks. So I'm trying to think up, what does that look like to me? What is this telling me it wants to be? And I tell that to people like my husband, and they think, oh, you're so weird. But no, really, my artwork talks to me and tells me what it wants to be. And I find that this project is a good one for when you just want to sit down and relax and be creative, maybe doodle a little bit, and don't rush yourself with it because you can get some really cool results. The one that I made with my name on it, this piece, I took well over a week and a half to do this because I would just work on it for an hour. And then if I felt a little tired, I work standing up all the time. And if I would get tired and just want to go sit down, okay, I'm done with that for now. I could come back to it later easily because with watercolor, you can re-wet your paint and move it around. That's a thing I'll show you. I'm just going to take a brush, get a little tiny bit of water on it, not a whole lot, because this spot of my E is still wet. And I can use this brush to just move some paint around right there and make something happen. I'm actually emphasizing almost a cauliflower or a bloom from where I put that water on there, and it just did this weird thing here. And I'm just going to emphasize that. And then I can maybe put some definition in there with my markers in a bit that creates flowers right there on that spot in that E. So the rest of it can be the leaves, and maybe there'll be flowers right there. And I like that idea. So I'm just going to move some paint while my brush is wet. I'm going to move some paint out of a few different areas. And there is, I can't think of the name of it right now. Irish bells or something. There's a really beautiful plant that's Irish something is in the name of it. I'm going to have to look it up. My oldest daughter carried a bouquet of it in her wedding, and it was so pretty. But the flowers themselves are tiny, light, pale green, and then you have all the green foliage, And that's what I'm thinking of now that I'm looking at this. So I'm just going to fix this up where that will work perfectly right on here to do that. Just by getting a wet paintbrush and kind of moving some of that paint around. And you see, I painted that last week and it dried all week long. And all I had to do to move the paint around and lighten it up was get my brush wet and dry most of the water off. Do that where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm rinsing my brush. Now it's really wet because I just rinsed it. I'm just going to dry it off on this paper towel. It's not bone dry, but it's mostly dry. It's, really pretty damp. And then just go in here and say, I want to move a little bit more paint right there. And there we go. So I've created some spaces where I'm going to put some light colored flower of some sort or another in there. And in my paint, right in here, I can see there's some funny squiggly little lines, little cobwebby, spiderwebby, veiny looking squiggly lines where it's white right there just because of the way the water and the paint mixed and the way it dried. And I like that. So I'm going to enhance that too. And maybe I'll use my gel pen to do some of that. I'm just going to put some more squiggly lines in. Whether it's a spider web or light shining off of some vines, I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out yet. But you see, I don't really need to know everything before I can start. This piece will kind of create itself. It's going to draw the art and the creativity out of you if you work it this way where you just find a starting point and do something and then stand back and have a look at it and say, what else should I do next, and do something like that. You'll end up with a piece that is very unique, very fun to do, and will probably end up having some good meaning for you, or for whoever you're giving it as a gift to.
Your house
like that.
should well with your furnishings and decoration.
Was whoever that was just talking, were you telling me something, or are we talking to someone else? Because I didn't quite catch what you said.
Sorry, that was me. I didn't realize I was still unmuted.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
It's all right. Okay. I think I need a candle going on here. And I'm not sure where I want to put it. But a candle would be a pretty addition to this word. And when I think of the word Noel, it makes me think of some kind of a quiet nighttime evening during the holiday season. And I would, if I didn't live in Florida, have candles lit all over the house. Now I have those battery operated fake candles. They look nice, but they're not quite the same. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to look at this and see where a good spot for a candle pops out at me.
Would it be corny to take the L and make that into the candle and just put a flame above it?
That is exactly what I'm thinking is where I'm going to do it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do, two things here, two ideas that I just got. Now I've got my one of my micron pens. This one is actually sepia instead of, or sepia instead of black. And it is a very fine 0.01. And I'm going to start on the top of the O. I'm going to put something that can turn this into another one of those balls on top of the Christmas tree. And I can add some height here. And now that I've got height added there, I can add the height over here on top of the L. And I may end up putting something, in fact, I just got a good idea. I know what I'm going to do there now. And I should tell you too that once you get going into this, ideas are going to really start coming fast. So it just takes getting into it. But I'm going to use a pencil. No, I'm not. I'll keep this very organic. If I don't like my line, I'm going to have to live with it. But I could draw very lightly with the pencil, and then if I don't like it, I could erase it. But I'm going to skip that because I'm going to force myself to just go with whatever comes out here. So I'm going to use an orange, a very pale orange colored pencil, and I'm just going to put the beginnings of the candle flame on here. And you know, blue and orange color go really well together too, so that's convenient that I've got this here. And I'm just putting a little bit of the base dark color in here. Then I'm going to switch to a pretty yellow. And I think what I see happening here is I'm going to let that be. I don't have a whole lot there, and I'm disappointed that it's not showing, but if I hold it just exactly so, you can kind of see where I've got some lines drawn in there. They show up a lot better than that in person. I'm just not real sure why it's kind of wanting to focus and kind of not, but you sort of can see where I've got some very light lines going with my colored pencil. And I'm going to switch to markers, and I'll need this palette because it's got a nice yellow, couple of nice yellows. And then I've got a really great orange right here. And I'm going to get one of my blending pens at the ready, you know, so I can grab that and go quickly with it. And I want to say it might need a little bit of red in there. I think I'm going to skip the red and go for this nice salmony pink. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of this pink color, right? Well, it's a salmony color right here. And then right into that, I'm going to put in some orange. And I've left a little bit of white at the base because I think I would probably stop here and Google and look at just images of candle flame and see how they look. But I'm pretty sure they typically have some white at the bottom. Now I'm gonna just get my darker yellow because I'm building up to the lightest color at the top of this thing. And I'm just slapping some color on, and I don't even really need to be super careful that I get it exactly where I want it to be, because the beauty of these blending pens is that I can blend with them. You can see I can kind of start blending with the color marker itself. But I'm going to take the blending pen, and let me zoom in here so I can show you. I'm just going to blend these colors together with this pen and draw this color from this marker out a good bit. And I like curlicues, so I'm going to figure that there's a bit of smoke or something coming up out of there. And I'll enhance that in a second. So I've got those colors blended together. Now it's very important. I'm going to take my paper towel, my pen, and wipe that color off on this paper towel so I don't have a lot of color on there. Then I can start spreading this color out more without it being too much. And just fade that out there, right out the top of my paper. I'm going to blend that, soften that down in the base there without losing my different colors. And I'm going to soften these edges a lot. And I like how that looks.
I like that a lot, Christine.
Thank you. Now if I go back so you can see the whole thing again. That's how that looks. And that looks really pretty. Now I'm going to put a bit of color into this, the cap on my Christmas ball here. And a little bit of bright yellow in there as well. Then again with the blending stick, just kind of smudge that color around a little bit. I do like to leave some white showing sometimes because I just think it keeps it fresh. And this blending pen will blend the micron pens a little bit as well. But there, I'm going to put that just like that. And I think I need some different color in there. I'm going to try a little bit of this really pale blue just to make that look a little bit shinier. And I like it just like it is. Let's see if I can show you that. You can see I just put a little bit of, it looks like the little hook on there now. So this is really starting to take shape. I'm liking it. You can see where I put my gel pen marks in here. Another thing I have found that I can do that is really fun, I'll do it over here with this snowflake because it's a perfect spot. Let me get the right color marker. I can, you see where I started marking with the gel pen and drawing this snowflake here. I've got so much stuff out now that, oh, what's missing its lid? This. I'm getting a little crowded on my table. It went out, the white marks of the snowflake are out here, so I didn't draw them because white on white isn't going to show. And it sort of looks like that snowflake stops and starts there in the edge of the N. Well, if I want to, instead of have that appearance, I can do this same definition. I can extend it out here in color. So I get the same thing going on. So I've got a ball there and then this light thing. And it's not showing me a whole lot right there, but I'm going to just put a dot there and a dot there just to kind of enhance the idea so you see what I'm talking about. So there, that's bigger now. And I've got the light color on the dark background, and then I put the dark color on the light background, and it's one image. I just switch colors when the background color switched. Same thing would happen if over in here, if I'm drawing white flowers in here and I'm going to extend them out to here, I would start drawing over on this part, I would start drawing the details with the green marker. In here it's white, out here it'll be green, that sort of thing. And this right here is what gave me that idea. I can take, let's see what color I might want to use for that. First of all, I believe I'm going to put some highlight color inside of there to make that show up a little more. And then I could just continue. I got to get a little bit of a pattern of some sort going. And then as it gets farther away, I'm probably going to want to switch to a lighter color. Go with this one. And I like that just like that. And then most likely, the thing that I would do to that next is actually, I think I will spray that with my spray bottle right there. It's going to loosen it up a little bit and make it run a little. And I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but I'm willing to find out. So I'm just going to get my spray bottle here. I'm going to turn this where it can run downhill and just give it a quick little squirt. Ooh, look at that. See what that did? Now I'm going to let it lay there. And I think I'm going to take this pencil and see if I can kind of train some of that water and emphasize what I see that happening in there. I don't know if these are petals or droplets of moisture or a combination of all of the above. I don't know, but I think it's pretty and I like it. And as you just saw there, it was totally unplanned. I didn't know I was going to do that. I didn't know it was going to look like that when I sprayed the water on it. You just have to get bold enough to take some chances and try things and see what happens. And you end up with really beautiful artwork almost all of the time. Because also, you don't have to stop a lot of times people stop too soon. Their piece is not looking good. They don't really like it. They don't know what's wrong. Instead of putting it down, walking away, and coming back later with fresh eyes and maybe a fresh idea, they just think it's no good and they throw it away. Well, don't do that. Give your artwork a chance to mature. Let it grow into what it's going to be. Take the time. Your artwork is worth whatever you invest in it. And if you invest your time in it, it'll be worth something because you'll get past that hump where you're not liking it and over into, wow, I can't believe I created that. And that is such a fun thing when that happens. So keep working on it. Keep looking at it and trying to figure what it should be. And when you need to, just figure, okay, I've worked on it for long enough right now. I'm not feeling it anymore. Put it down, come back the next day or the next evening or, anything like that. And you'll be very pleased to see what you can create. And I just now looked up at the chat and Mercedes wants to know how to start the pine branch. Let me see where I might put a pine branch on here. I'm not sure I have a really great spot for a pine branch on this one, but let's try it off the top of the E here. And what I would start with is the stem, the brown part. So I'm going to use this marker because it's nice and light and it'll be very forgiving if I put something that I don't quite like and want to switch it later. So let's see, I'm gonna come right up out of here. One going that way and another one going over this way, and I'm gonna just send it right through that thing there. So it may look like that's hanging on the pine branch there.
Good idea.
So I've got my start. Thank you. I've got my start there. And just a couple of little lines off like that here and there, just for a base. And then I'm going to switch and get some light greens. Let me clean up a little bit here so I've got more space to work. I'm going to put some of that color in there. And I'll probably want some of this, no, this color. Which one? That one maybe. And then let's put these away because they're not pine branch colors. I may put some yellow, so I'll leave those out. And I need some greens. I forgot where this one goes. It's going to live here for now. So I've got all these greens. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put some of that blue, now that I'm thinking about it, in my pine branch. So I got a bunch of greens out here. Let's put this over there for now. Okay, now let's see. All these colors. And what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to start with the darkest ones first and work to the lightest, which is backwards of how you watercolor, but it's going to work with these markers. So I've got this nice dark green color, and I'm just going to put some little pine needles shooting off of here. And they need to not all be going the same direction, not all at the same angle, not all the same length. Just kind of vary them up somewhat. And down here near the bottom, I'm going to not put any more in front of the E. I'll put some up here where it can look like it's coming out from behind, but in order for it to come out from behind, some of it has to be behind. So leave that like that, and then take a slightly lighter color and just start putting some in like that. Have them go off both sides. And like I said, at different angles, different lengths. And here I want it to seem like it goes behind that side, and I want it to go over in front on this side so that it looks like that thing's hanging on it. That's getting pretty good. Now an even lighter green. And it's already starting to look good. I can almost leave it just like that. I'm going to put in a little bit of this dark brown, just in a few little spaces. Then I'm going to put, this is a really dark brownish red color, and I'm going to just very judiciously put just a few of those in there. Not want much of that at all. I think that looks good there. Now I am going to take this blue and put a little bit of blue in there, but not too much. Now I'm going to sit here and think about it. I'm going to look at it and think, what does it need? Because again, there is no need to rush this. You know, our class will be over in less than 20 minutes. But that does not mean, oh no, I gotta hurry and finish this. No, it really doesn't, because what I've just showed you is something you can use anytime. Just pick up your pens and start doodling, or sit in front of, your It's a Wonderful Life or whatever movie on TV, uh, or sit and listen to an audiobook. You can even pack up your pack of markers in a little bag or something, and take your paper with you in a folder or in a notebook that keeps it nice and flat. And say you're stuck at the DMV because you've got to renew your license and you don't already have that weird thing on it. And so you're going to have to actually go down there and wait. Or maybe you got jury duty, or you're at the dentist's office and they're really busy and they haven't called you in for your appointment yet. There are little snippets of time uh, throughout our day when we're somewhere sitting waiting, and this is a perfect thing to pull out and um, use that time to stay relaxed, create some art, doodle and draw and create, and don't get stressed. I don't recommend you try to do this at the red lights. but a lot of the rest of the time when we're stuck waiting, this is a perfect thing to do to keep our minds occupied doing something creative and off of looking at the clock and thinking how much time is wasted. We're just waiting. Why are they so behind? Why are they taking so long? Those kinds of things are not productive for us. They create stress, and they are harmful to our health. And if you do stuff like this, even just keep a little pack of greeting cards or something with you, and whip one out and create a card for someone. You don't even have to know who you're sending it to right at the moment, but if you do have someone in mind, that may help you tailor the design to that person. But just create some cards, do little fun things like this when you're stuck waiting places, or in the evening when it's time to unwind. There's a lot of times you can use this technique and create something pretty that you can be proud of and that you can share with your friends and family, and they'll be proud of you. And you're doing something good for yourself, for your heart and your mind. So does anybody else have any more questions? It's 2:15.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Christine.
very welcome.
We don't have to stay on and continue this. I mean, 2:15, this is good. We can end unless anybody has any questions. If you do, unmute yourself. Otherwise, we can work on this by ourselves.
I don't mind staying for the additional 15 minutes. I just wanted to bring it to the point where if there is any questions, that we get a chance to answer those. And also, I need to write down the meeting ID and passcode
Yep.
one more time.
I'm going to give the meeting ID and passcode again. We have 2 more classes that are already scheduled. One is on January 8th at 1 o'clock, and the next one is January 22nd at 1 o'clock. And those are both Fridays, and the meeting ID is 876-8073-9273, and the passcode is 851441.
Okay, I wrote it down so I won't be standing here trying to figure out where's the passcode, where's the meeting ID. So I've got it.
I noticed that my name has changed now. Thank
Oh,
you.
you know what? I did that, and it's only good for this meeting. As
Yeah.
long as you join the meeting with the link that you got from Julie, it'll still show her name. But as host and co-host, we can go in there and edit your name.
Oh, thank you.
You can probably edit it yourself too. All I did was I hovered over the square with your face in it, and
Okay.
the same little things pop up, the mute and the three little dots. And if you click on the three little dots, one of the options is rename. And
Yes, I see.
if you do it, actually, no, it's as long as you sign in with that link, it's going to keep popping up as Julie, but we can
Okay,
edit
that's okay. I
within the
can
meeting.
change it. Thank you.
I just learned that recently.
Great.
Amy, your joy looked really nice.
I'm going to unpin now, remove the spotlight, and that way you can either be on speaker view or gallery view. Since I removed the spotlight, everybody will now be on speaker view. But if you know how to switch it to gallery view, you can see everyone, or you can see who.
Does anybody want to hold theirs up?
Me.
Be brave.
Let's see. Ooh, I love it.
That joy is pretty.
Yes.
Which one
I
are you
like the
talking about?
Maria.
Aileen, I want to see yours closer.
I'm
Yeah.
coming closer.
It's really cute, very, very clever.
Where am I
So
going? Right?
nice,
Yeah.
everyone.
Look at
Oh,
that.
Oh, that is
Oh,
adorable.
cute. Do you all see what she did? That's nice.
I love that.
I like the versions of Peace and the other versions of Noel that I see.
Yeah.
Amy's Joy is gorgeous.
Lorna, let's see yours again. Oh, another piece. Okay, those are so nice.
I like the one with the little dog.
Yes. And wait, Lynn, what's yours? Oh, wow, Lynn, I love that. Friends and family.
I actually did the name already. I sent it to Jackie and I mailed it to, we have a new
Oh,
grandniece.
that's so nice.
But we're going to visit friends who celebrate Christmas, so I did this for them. And then just a birthday card for family member.
I love
Very
it.
nice.
And these are cards. You know, these are just cards. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I missed some.
Very and
Jillian,
very
did you hold one up?
Who, Christine?
Jillian?
Who?
Yeah.
Julie.
Oh, okay, I see.
Brilliant, nice. Okay.
And I see Marianne's Noel.
Noel.
I was ready to throw this
Two
out.
Noels.
There's a letter. You did such a great
We
job.
still have a bunch of you with your video turned off, so if you're holding something up, I can't see it.
All right.
If you're holding something up, please make sure your video is turned on.
Do you know how to go in and do that? That's what I've been trying to find out.
Oh,
I know
let
at the
me look at
beginning.
your name.
That Ruth?
Yes.
Okay, let me see too. Maybe I
Now,
can.
it's showing that your video is available, but it is turned off. So I clicked on Ask to Start, and that should pop something up that you just have to click on to.
Got it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 I just want to thank you, ladies. I've really, really enjoyed this, and I will be back.
Great. Glad to
Lorna,
hear that.
good.
I really enjoyed it.
Me
Thank
too.
you. Thank you
Really
both.
enjoyed it
Yes,
too.
Yeah.
Julie and Christine. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a fun
Happy
class.
holidays, and I'll miss you for the
Happy
next couple
holiday.
weeks. But we'll get together again January 8th.
Okay, see you
And-
then. Have a nice holiday, everybody.
Oh, and I want to tell everybody too, that we're going to be doing the beach scene that was on the flyer that was mailed out.
I just want to
So-
show you,
Okay.
remember the flamingo we did?
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful
I put the
flamingo.
stickers and we put a little holiday hat and I sent that out as a card.
Oh,
Lynn, I love it.
that's great. I
Just
love
something
seeing
different.
stuff like that.
Amy, your menorah is really nice too.
Here, I'm making Christmas or Hanukkah cards. I should say Happy Hanukkah. This is going to my nieces out in California.
Oh, so
Now you
nice.
have to show us the back of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because I'm doing it in watercolor and I'm pushing the papers all over my table. The paint runs, I get spots where they're not supposed to be. So I've named it.
Bad art.
Bad art.
Isn't that great?
I
Oh,
love
there's
it.
Ruth's, there's
Nice.
Ruth's picture now. I see it.
Oh, Ruth, that's so nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And congratulations on your reward yesterday.
Thank
Yes,
you. I
congratulations.
was really, really surprised about that, and very pleasantly so. I got an award. Uh, if you're on Facebook and you've joined my artist page, you will have seen me post an announcement that I won an award in an exhibit that is online right now of my artwork, and
Wonderful.
What was the award? What did it say?
I got best in show.
Wow. Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow!
Congratulations.
So go to Christine on Facebook. Just go to Christine Landis.
Actually, let me put a thing in the chat so you can find it.
And Christine Landis.
You have to have the dot in there. M. Christine Landis.
Yeah, and
So I'm
yeah,
gonna just
I
put
have
the.
that.
Oops. I'm gonna just put the link here.
Oh, here, Gold Coast Watercolor Society. Yeah.
Uh huh.
Okay. Very nice.
I can't see the letters on my keyboard here. Somebody told me there's such a thing as a remote keyboard. I need to get one so that I don't have to keep climbing up on the ladder and let you see my belly in the screen. But I think I got that link correct in the chat. If you go to that, now you will have to have a Facebook account to be able to see most of that stuff, but that's where I am there. I'm going to be posting something about it on my own website, which is just mchristinelandis.com, and you don't need the period after the M for that. Just way back when, I guess I put it in when I created my Facebook artist page and didn't really think about what that was going to do to me later.
Online. They said they paid me $150.
Hey, everybody. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you so much.
Holidays.
See you in a
Have a
couple weeks.
wonderful, wonderful holiday season.
Thank you.
Hanukkah.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye,
Christmas.
everyone.
Happy Hanukkah to all.
Be
Bye.
safe.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
They mentioned something about another contest that the
Oh.
Watercolor Society is doing. Is that the one called anything?
It hasn't, the information has not gone up on the website yet. It'll be on Gold Coast Watercolor Society.com, and we don't have it up there yet. We're working on that next week. So keep checking back.
All right.
And you can like the Gold Coast page on Facebook, and it'll be going, the advertisement will go on there too.
Okay, I'll do that. All right. Thank you. Have a great holiday.
You too.
Stay safe, and I'll see you in January.
Okay, see you in January.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did you have a question, Diane, or?
I just want to ask you which painting won
Bye,
the
Amy.
Best in Show, because I see like a bunch of paintings here.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a painting. If you're in the area of Hollywood or Dania,
I'm looking on Facebook.
yes, but if you live, this will tell you how you can recognize it. If you live in Hollywood or Dania Beach, you may have seen on Griffin Road, there's a little Irish restaurant pub called The Field.
Yes.
And a couple years ago, I was there on December 23rd, which is like Christmas Eve. It's the night before Christmas, which is why I named my piece The Night Before. People get a little confused by that, but it's there's a guy playing a guitar and a girl playing a violin, and then there's a guy sitting at what is the bar, but it's kind of dark, and there's a couple of like red goblet type of glasses in front of him. So it's got a lot of red and blue, and the subject is the Irish